I think everybody who's investing in real estate at one point after buying a couple of properties start thinking, how do I actually speed it up and how do I get into multifamily? And at some point, everybody gets interested in the multifamily game. My biggest mistake when it came to multifamily was that, first of all, I wasn't interested in it fast enough. I should have started buying multifamily from day one, not focusing on condos and not doing any condos, because my very first couple of purchases were condos. I could have bought a 3-flat building and moved into one unit and have 2 more as a rentals. That took me 2 years to get up to 3 units, I think. That's what it was. And I could have done it, way faster. And my next purchase could have been another building, again, as an owner-occupant with low money down, and have move into one and have other ones also. So I would have had 6 units like that. It took me, much longer to get up to 6 units with the strategy that I was using with condos. But another mistake that I had was when I got interested in the multifamily buildings, I was running numbers based on what the current rents and what the current numbers are showing. The returns, capital rate. So I would calculate the rents, I would divide it by the price, I would see what the net income would be, get the gross rent, subtract the expenses, the NOI, divide by the price. I would look at the cap rate, and then I would say, it's a good deal or a bad deal. And a lot of multifamily buildings weren't penciling out. A lot of times they wouldn't make sense. The rents are too low, the taxes are too high, and other stuff is high, and it's just, it would work. If I compare it to a condo or a townhouse, usually the condo or townhouse would work. But I was missing this piece of the puzzle, is that I was running the condo or townhomes on the numbers that I would rent the place for. And because most of the times you're buying that vacant, or if somebody's there, they will be moving out before the closing, 99% of the time. And the building you're buying with the current tenant. And a lot of times those current tenants are there for a long time with low rents. So I'm running the townhouse or condo based on the rent that I'm going to rent it out for, which is I'm going to squeeze the most off the market. And I'm running multifamily buildings based on what it's currently producing, not what it could produce after I put the new tenants and rehab the units. And that was the reason for me why the buildings would never work, and why would they never pencil out and create enough cash on cash returns. I finally saw that the buildings are trading. They used to trade for whatever it is bringing today. I will pay you 6 cap. This creates this price. If you want more, re-rent the units, I'll give you more price. It should work that way. That's logically, whatever is building producing, I'm going to pay you based on that, not based on what the potential could be. But the fact that there's more money on the market and there's less deals available for sale created a situation where buyers would pay on potential based on what could be created out of this building, and the net cash flow could be created after re-renting units to new tenants. And so as soon as I saw that, then I started running numbers, and then things started to make more sense. And some buildings would make sense buying as is, and they will start cash flowing. Most will be just breaking even. And for a lot of people, breaking even is fine. And for a lot of people, just cash flowing is not fine. They want equity straight off the gate. So some real estate investors are looking to buy a building or any sort of real estate with equity already. So if it's worth 500, for example, in today's shape, I need to put in a lot of work. I'm going to pay 450 just to have that extra profit. I'm the type of investor who's not looking for equity. I'm looking for cash flow. And right now with the buildings, sometimes it's hard even to find the cash flow. You're finding a potential cash flow, and it's breaking even today. And so, one thing I'm going to say, that's what works for me, is that I'm looking for buildings that don't need huge rehabs. There's a lot of investors that this is their active income. It's what they do for a living. So they need to squeeze the most out of these buildings, and then they trade them. They trade them out. They sell the building, they buy something else, they trade it up, they remodel the next building, raise rents, they refinance, sell again, trade it up to a bigger building. And that because it's their active business, that's what they're doing, and they need to make the most out of it. I'm in real estate sales. I run the real estate brokerage. That's how I make my money. And real estate investments is the place where I shelter my money, is where I invest. And I'm not looking for remodel jobs. I'm not looking for projects that need a lot of work. I'm not looking for buildings that need a new plumbing, new electrical, new roofs, new windows. I want somebody to change these things for me. I will pay a little bit extra through the bank. I'll pay a little bit more extra in the price. I'll finance more amount. I'll have my mortgage payments a little bit higher, but I'll be able to turn the units faster. I'll be able to come in, maybe paint, put new cabinets, new tiles, and I'll raise rents. So that way it's going to be, for me, it makes more sense because it's less management. I'm looking for better shaped buildings. And if you talk to somebody who is doing real estate full time and someone who is just doing real estate investments and maybe even flipping and investing and holding for a couple of years, they will not do deals that I'm doing. And some investors will do deals that are like top of the line product with top of the line rents. It's barely breaking even, but it's in a beautiful location and they don't care. It's breaking even and I'm fine. I'm gonna hold it forever. That's the only unit I have. It's the only building. Nothing's wrong with that. It's just you want to pick your avenue. My biggest mistake was I wasn't looking at the buildings fast enough. I wasn't understanding the potential, because if you look at condos, townhouses, and houses, the cash flow is going to be good a lot of times. You pick the product that has lower HOAs, lower taxes, in a good location with higher rents, you're going to get good cash flow. And a lot of times it's going to be cash and cash returns like 15-13%. It's great. What's the problem with that? There's nothing wrong with it. And plus it's very easy management because there's association that takes care of everything. But the thing is that it's a lower price, and every month you're paying down principal just a little bit. And really, if you look at the end of the year how much principal you've paid down, it's not much. It's not going to be looking great, and that's what's missing in the small purchases. And the bigger purchases, the more of the mortgage, the every month the more you pay off. So it's actually great, and that's one of the things that you should be also paying attention to, because remember, like, real estate is not just a cash flow. It's also, I was just driving by the building, it's look cool. It's for lease. I have to stop by on the way back, check it out, the building. And also, like, cash flow, it's appreciation, principal reduction, and depreciation at the end of the year, tax write-off. So it's 4 avenues of income. Principal reduction is a big one, because every month your tenant pays your rent. You keep a little bit for yourself for cash flow, for keeping up the building, and for paying off expenses, and maybe even piling up, and you can maybe buy another building soon. And principal reduction is your loan is getting paid off. In 10 years, you'll owe a little bit, and the price will go up much more, and that's your spread, and that's how much you make. You can sell the building, buy a bigger one, and have more cash flow. Just a beautiful game of real estate. And I was focused on cash flow, which could be maybe a good thing, because I was trying to cover up all of my expenses and live for free, and I've achieved that. And right now I'm going, for next, I'm going to increase that cash flow too. But I can do that with buildings too. I see that in terms of owning multifamily buildings. But my approach is to buy better quality buildings in better locations, pay fair price. I'm not looking for bargains. I'm not looking for any steals. If I'm able to find something that urgent sale, they have to get rid of it, they're leaving a little bit of money on the table, there's a little bit extra work, it's fine, we'll take it. But I'm not going to be spending another month or two finding that deal when I have a deal it's a fair price. I'm not getting equity today. But if I raise rents and there is a potential within a year or two to increase the price, the value, and the loan is going to get paid down, and my rents are going to go up, and it's going to just create more cash flow, I'm going to go back to the bank, pull most of my money out, and buy another building. I'm fine with that, because I'm also enjoying what I have, because it's a lower management, it's a great location, nice quality building, and that's my approach right now. And if somebody was asking me what would I do if I was just buying the building, just not building, let's say I'm just looking to buy something for the first time, buy the building, use the FHA loan or owner occupant, whatever type of loan you can get, just to buy the building that you're going to be living in one of the units, and the other unit or two are going to be rented out, and you're going to be enjoying. The most important thing you're going to enjoy is the principal reduction. Because look at this. This is what I'm thinking. This is true coming from my opinion. Every single month when I get paid from tenants, I not only get the cash flow, but my principal gets lower. And if you multiply that by how many units you have, if you have like 20 units, 30, 40, that gets to be a very, very interesting. On even cheap condos, you pay down roughly a couple $1,000s per year. So that's, maybe $500 a month or something. If you have 10, that's 5-6 grand every single month. They're just, you're not even touching it. But what if you have a couple millions of dollars in debt? You're getting a couple tens of thousands every single month. It's just getting paid down. Plus you're getting a cash flow. Plus you write it off at the end of the year. Plus the market is going up, usually, typically, every single year, roughly 3 to 4%. And that's how you really make money. But you don't see that money right away. You just see it later. You see it as you get more of those accumulated. As the years go by, you start looking at your portfolio. Boom. I don't even know that I'm a millionaire. That's how it feels, and that's how it actually works. It's the magic, and the sooner you get into owning more and your mortgage bigger, and I know that sounds like, here's the thing, your personal property, you don't want the mortgage. But, I don't know if you can afford, because if your mortgage is whatever X percent, you can probably use your money to make more money. But if you can have your house pay down and have no mortgage, beautiful. But for investments, you don't want to pay down. I don't know. Whatever Dave Ramsey says, I really love Dave Ramsey. He's all about not having debt. And I hate debt, but I love real estate debt. That's the only type of debt that I really love. And real estate debt creates money for you. But, owning a house and having a debt, that's a liability debt. That's a real estate debt, but that's a liability. If you can get rid of it, great. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Because you should still treat it as a liability. You should treat it as a waste of money. But that money that you can keep, instead of putting it into the paying down your house, if you can use it to create more money, it's just a beautiful thing. It's just going to create more money. Like right now, I'm in a car. I still have $15,000 left to pay it down. And my opinion is, like, every single month I'm thinking about, should I pay it off? Should I pay it off? I have the money to pay it off. I still, I can write a check, pay this off. But it's a 3.4% interest or something like that on this Lexus. Throughout the 5 years, I'm overpaying $1,500 in interest on this car. So I've got like 2.5 years left on this car. And if I keep it and just pay my bills, I'm going to pay roughly $800 extra in interest on the car, and I've still got like 3 years or something, or 2.5 years to pay it off. I don't know. Why not just hold on to the money, because it's more expensive today. It's going to be in a year or two. My opinion, I don't know. Because inflation's going up, so money is becoming worthless, worth less every single year. So I don't know. We'll see what they're worth, but I don't know. It's something that I would like to do because I want to get rid of those payments. But on the flip side, I can keep the money and maybe rehab a condo and create extra $200 in cash flow. And I'll make $1,200 in 1 year versus $800 in 3 years, paying in interest. So if you know where to put the money to make the money work, I think you're in a good shape. But you always want to be careful. You don't want to stretch yourself to things, and when things go wrong, then you're over leveraged, and your loans and your interest and everything you're paying is just choking you, and you got no time, no resources to build up the wealth. You want to be safe. You don't want to have too much expenses, too much payments. But if you can use the money to turn it and create extra income, then in my book, it only makes sense.